Hi, this is Frank Schaeffer, escapee and refugee from an evangelical fundamentalist background. I'm 71 years old, and I have spent a long time thinking about the ramifications of having grown up in an evangelical household that essentially was anti-science. And we are at a crossroads now where all the scientific theories about climate change are being proven correct. It's a new moment in human history. This July is the hottest month that has ever been experienced on this planet since humans evolved, not just recorded history, but at any time. So we have lived to see something proved true beyond any argument. And that is that all the climate science that talked about what would happen if we continued with the use of fossil fuels and global warming has come to pass faster than anybody predicted. Ocean temperatures so high that coral reefs are dying. Air so hot that people are dying. It's a good time to consider the fact that Judaism, Islam, and Christianity all share a common teaching about one thing, and that is that the earth, the planets, the stars, the universe as we know it was somehow created for the benefit of humankind, to be exploited by us, to be used by us. The animal kingdom to be our slaves, our servants, our food source, the planet itself given to us as a gift by God, in which we were to be the stewards over it, but definitely in charge as the highest form of life on that planet. We are at a new moment in history where we can see the evidence in front of us, irrefutable, beyond any questioning, that this idea was a death wish, that it was a lie, that the harbinger of our own destruction was in the theology of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These religions are killers. The idea of human domination of the planet as if it was here for our own capricious amusement or sustenance has now blown up in our faces with climate change as we now understand it. That has been proved in terms of the science being all too correct, all too prophetic, while so-called prophetic religions have been end-to-end lies. Lies that have taught us the wrong things about human nature, taught us that we somehow need God or revelation or the Quran or the Bible or the Torah in order to live full lives, when in fact, these teachings have robbed our planet of the ability to sustain human life at all. We have a choice now. You know, I'll put it in a funny way. Do we need more preachers, more imams telling young women to have head coverings, more morality police, more Saudi princes murdering people left, right, and center across the planet, more evangelical pastors still preaching the same old gospel of domination? Or do we need more astrophysicists, more people educated in science, more people who are open to facts and truth, who build things that look deep into outer space to 13 billion years ago and find origins of our creation and draw lessons from that? Or do we need more fanciful preachers clinging to ever more far-fetched conspiracy theories? Orthodox Jews trying to take over their country and turn it into a theocracy, not even pretending anymore that they're interested in a Jewish state established by secular thinkers in the 19th and 20th century, culminating in 1948, but rather trying to seize power, out-procreate their liberal contemporaries, take over the state of Israel, and turn it into a mirror image of Saudi Arabia, except with the Torah and the Jewish scriptures as the base of their lives instead of the teaching of Islamic mullahs. Here in the United States, we have an increasingly radicalized white Christian nationalist movement, armed to the teeth, trying to hang on to what they regard as their inheritance a weird mixture of anti-science propaganda, racism, sexism, homophobia, presenting this as their truth, and even clinging to Vladimir Putin as somehow a hero because he too stands up for these, quote, traditions. But every breath you take in a day that is 100 degrees or more, every coral reef that is dying off Florida as temperatures there approach 100 degrees in the water on surface temperatures, every passenger sitting in a flight that is grounded for a few hours while they roast in the cabin or collapse in the street if they are working, resurfacing a road or building a bridge, is testament to a bigger truth. And that is the absolute, total, complete failure of the idea that humankind has any business dominating this planet and destroying it for its own sake. So we're at a unique place, and that is the discussion is over in terms of what the so-called Judeo-Christian tradition produces. The discussion is over in terms of what Saudi Arabia with their intolerant imams and all their nonsense Wahhabist theology produces. It's soon going to be too hot to congregate in Mecca and circle around the Black Rock. It's going to be too hot to sit in any church that isn't spending tens of thousands on air conditioning. The very proof of the failure of this idea of a kind of a divine right of human nature is being exploded or burnt up, I should say, in front of our very eyes. Now is a moment we have a choice, and that is to reject these ridiculous traditions and their oppression. Morality police whipping and raping young women in Iran, imprisoning and torturing women in Saudi Arabia who ask for human rights, while former American generals and lieutenant colonels get high-paying jobs with the Saudis, who are buying their way into respectability by sport washing themselves. But they can't get the blood of intolerance and sexism off their hands. The rampant murder of people labeled terrorists who stand up against their ridiculous regime. And now we see in Israel the actual skeletal hand coming forth from under the pretense of this nice Jewish democracy. And what we really see there is the intolerance that we see in all other rigid fundamentalist religions, in the ultra-Orthodox community, seizing power, overturning the rights of the court to be any steadying influence on their country. We have a choice. More generations of self-destructive, suicidal, Orthodox Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, or a last-ditch effort to grasp the evidences of science in front of us. As I say, more astrophysicists, less preachers, less imams, please. It is a shameful thing to be an American Christian these days. It is a shameful thing to be a follower of Islam or Judaism. It is a shameful thing to discount all the evidence of our eyes as our planet burns because of these stupid teachings that it was somehow given to us for our exploitation instead of the truth. And that is, we are an evolved species among other evolved species. And unless we learn to deal with that fact that we are nothing special, that we are part of this planet, that very survival instinct should dictate that we fit in with where we are rather than trying to mold it to our wants and desires. We don't have long to make this decision. It is time to no longer be polite about ridiculous religion and superstition that gets in the way of an enlightened, science-based view of truth, of what we need on this planet to survive. As I said in another commentary, we do not need Jesus, we do not need Allah, we do not need God, we do not need Muhammad. What we need is a clear-eyed embrace of our actual situation. We are killing ourselves. My name is Frank Schaeffer.